Counselor? There's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories.
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya. Hey, happy campers. Welcome back to Trail Mix.
This is our mini episode where we're going to read listener-submitted stories you guys send to us. So if you have a story you want us to read, go to campcounselorspodcast.com and send it our way.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm excited for October to finally be here.
Ooh, it's so chilly. I saw a leaf and it was turning orange.
Oh, you did?
I did. I saw it with my own eyes.
I love that lie because this has been pre-recorded. We're just trying to bring you fall vibes, guys. We have it in the calendar. Anyways, we have a very exciting show for you this week. One of our first stories has to do with a medical appointment that goes awry.
Oh, and a story about Grindr.
Oh, and then I have a pool story.
And then a Disney cruise gone horribly wrong.
I don't want to say too much in these little intro things because I'm like, well, let's save it for the actual story.
Right. We'll give you a little taste. We'll give you 4 M&Ms from the trail mix. How about that?
Oh, I love that.
It turns out it's not actually a bag of trail mix. It's literally just a bag of M&Ms.
And sometimes that's what you really need.
Sometimes that's what you really want. Are we qualified to be giving advice? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Absolutely. Welcome to Dear Counselors, the part of the show where we give advice you are requesting, and it might not be the best advice you've ever heard.
Why do you always start with so negative? Let's just pretend that it's good.
Okay, let me scrap that, okay? Welcome back to Dear Counselors, where you're going to be hearing the hard-hitting best advice backed by lawyers. Was that good?
Yeah, it was a lie, but I liked it. That was good.
Yeah, it was a lie. Legally, that was a lie. That was a lie. It was a fib. I'm joking. Okay. So this one actually is like a little bit of a serious one. So let's take this on. Dear counselors, first of all, I love you both so much. The podcast has become my comfort show and I rewatch episodes religiously. I love that.
Thank you.
I'm writing about a situation I created myself. Almost 3 years ago, my boyfriend of now 6.5 years disclosed some fantasies to me that in simple terms, I am just not built to fulfill. I was so happy he was open with me, and I encouraged him to explore that side of him and download a specific app to tap into that side of himself. It starts with a G, ends with Grindr. So we're talking Grindr here.
We're talking the male dating site, the gay dating site.
I would struggle to call it a dating site. It's basically a hookup app.
True.
98% of people it's just horny people on there just trying to hook up.
I would even go as high to say 99.9.
Yeah, that's what I would say. She's in telling her boyfriend to be like, okay, so you want to explore that side and encouraging him. That's fun. That's nice. That's supportive. That's really supportive. Nothing about this bothers me at all, or so I thought. Shortly after this, things were good. He was really open about what he was doing with others. We discussed boundaries, etc. I feel like that's healthy to, if you want to have an open relationship, that this is what we're talking about, boundaries. I saw it as a healthy part of a long-term sex life. Okay. About a year later, we noticed a decline in our sex life, and he implied that his time on the app may be to blame. He declared that he was giving up the app in order to focus on us and made a really big deal about it. I've had my chance to explore. I want to deepen our relationship, yada, yada, yada. So that's what he's saying to our campaign.
Yeah, which for her, it sounds like really comforting and amazing, being like, wow, we are so progressive and so amazing.
We're seeing an issue that arose, if you will, and we're going to work on it. Thank you.
Well, let's just keep going, please.
However, I know that since that time, he has remained on the app in secret, even taking things further than our set boundaries. I'm pretty sure he met up with someone. Today, our sex life has declined and is almost non-existent. And when it does happen, I'm not getting him to the finish line. More and more often, I find him seeking opportunities to be alone, hiding his phone, and generally acting sketchy. To be clear, I have snooped, and I'm also attached to the card account that's being used to fund the continued app membership. Oh, so he's not even on the free app. He's paying.
He's on premium.
He's on premium. Okay, that she's paying for. So she can see the card's still being charged. So, all right. In every other way, he is the most perfect boyfriend on the planet. We're supposed to be engaged before the year ends, and we just moved into a new place last month. He's my best friend and my soulmate. I feel guilty for snooping, guilty for encouraging him from the beginning, and then seemingly switching up how I feel about it. And I also feel like this is a huge secret between us that keeps growing bigger and bigger by the day. It should be as easy as having a big conversation with the person I have all big conversations with. But I guess I'm afraid of what may happen if I do bring everything to light. What the fuck do I do? Signed, Confused in Cabin 6. I feel so terrible for our camper because she was being open to it and being like, explore that side of you and being like really supportive. And then things took a turn.
I love you so much, camper, but the engagement sounds like the most horrific idea I've ever heard in my entire life. We live in a society where sometimes people feel like they have to repress who they really are. And unfortunately, you are going to be kind of like the real like loser in the situation.
I was gonna say, yeah, collateral damage almost.
In terms of the fact that you're not a loser, but you're the one that's suffering the loss here because you did everything as you could as a supportive girlfriend. You tried to like be open to things, and now he has crossed a boundary that you've set, and now he's at fault. And it has nothing to do with him being gay, but he had a promise to you, a commitment to you, and now he's completely disregarded that. He's being sneaky, and if you think something's up, it is up. And I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I think you need to let this one go.
100%. Camber, I would feel bad being responsible for like saying something, but you honestly, I think you need to consider ending things, in my humble opinion.
No, I think you do. This is not going to turn out in a way that it's going to be healthy for you. And what happens when you get married and this behavior continues and then he decides, oh, maybe that he just doesn't want to do this anymore. Like you're at a place now where it seems like it's so incredibly awful how much time you've invested in something that's going to end. But it could be worse. You could be married. You could have kids. You know what I mean? Like
100%. Like you guys aren't engaged yet. And to me, the turning point is the lying. Really being like, oh my God, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on us. I'm deleting the app. I'm off of it. And then going behind your partner's back and continuing this. That's sneaky. That's lying. And then also if you're trying to have sex, that's like dangerous if you're not telling the person that you're with what you're doing on the low.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with you, girl, because no offense, you have something that you can't offer. You know what I mean? He wants something else. And this is like, it's something to be ashamed about. It's unfortunate that he put you in this position where he wasn't ready to come to terms with it. But if he's still being sneaky, if he's still actively using this, he is exploring more and learning more about himself, and he needs to be honest with you. So I think the next step is to sit down and have an honest conversation being like, is this the life that you want? And I'm not going to tolerate like being put in this position anymore. It's not fair to you at all.
It's absolutely not. And listen, my ex left me, has a wife and kids. Like there is the other side of it. So just, I would say end things and things will get better.
Yeah, I really am rooting for you, and your person is out there, and this is your person or was your person. We grow, we evolve as people. He is always going to be your best friend and someone that you can really appreciate for this time of your life, but you are so young and this is just a season of your life. So don't commit to somebody for the rest of your seasons because of whatever's happening right now. Like you still have a whole life ahead of you. But this one, I feel it in my gut, and I would put all my pennies down on this, that this is not a good move. Yeah. And I'm looking out for you. Nothing to do with the fact that he's gay. No. But he shouldn't be putting you in the crosshairs here. That's not fair to you. You deserve better.
Yeah.
We love you.
We love you.
Get out of the water and onto the dock. You're not going to believe what I just heard.
Welcome back to Gossip Talk. This is the part of the show where we're just going to read your gossip because you have something you want to tell us, get off your chest, and you want us to spread it anonymously. And I love that because I love spreading gossip. And this is a really good one, you guys. Okay, so here we go. Imagine being a teenager one day and a literal teen mom the next. That's right. I was pregnant in high school and had absolutely no idea until the day I gave birth. I love it. I didn't know I was pregnant story. Yeah. It's so traumatic, and I shouldn't even say that because that actually is terrible for me to even say it out loud. But like the drama that the stories unfold, because it is really hard to believe that this can be true. But we've had so many instances where it's like, yeah, it can happen.
Before you jump into it, I just want to say a personal friend of mine who I was around with constantly, I'll leave her name out of it for her own privacy, but she didn't know she was pregnant for like months. and months. And the doctors kept telling her that she was barren and that she was just getting sick from something else, that it was like a thyroid issue and all this shit. And then she ended up finding out she was like 4 or 5 months pregnant. And she was like, how did I not know this?
If I was a woman and anytime I ever felt nauseous, I would take a pregnancy test all the time. I would just be like one of those girls.
I'd be like, I haven't had sex in months, but I could be.
Yeah, you're like, hello, Virgin Mary, it's me, baby, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, back to this camper story.
Yes.
She goes, I was cramping the evening before, and I kept telling my mom how much my stomach hurt. Literally 17 at the time, and she didn't give one shit about these cramps. She gave me a Midol and even a damn laxative to help. But as the night went on, they continued to get worse. Finally, at 8 a.m., she was tired of me bitching and pulls a, well, fine, if it hurts that bad, let's go to the ER and figure this out. Parents always use that line to see if your ass was faking.
Yes, they do.
They really do. They really go right to the hospital. Like, if this is so bad, we're going to the hospital. And then that's a choice in the matter as a youth. We were like, wait, am I all in? Am I all out?
Am I being drama?
But she wasn't joking. She was like, no, but let's go, babe. She's like, Mom, let's bring my ass there, please. Side note, I still had my period throughout the months.
Oh.
It was light and shorter, but still there. Also played softball, volleyball, and did powerlifting at the time. This one weekend was our only weekend not out of town or at a damn tournament. Could you imagine my parents if they got that phone call? Also changed in the locker room with all my teammates regularly, went to school like normal, still had green apple Smirnoff on back roads every now and then.
Oh no.
Anyway, show up to the hospital at 8 a.m., check in, and at this point, I'm legit in the fetal position on the hospital bed, thinking my appendix or something ruptured because we waited so long to get to the hospital.
Fetal position, foreshadowing.
But after blood tests, the doctor comes in and confirms she's pregnant, and we're having this baby today. In all honesty, they were assholes at the hospital. It was giving small town teenager trying to hide a pregnancy like she doesn't know attitude.
The judgment that comes from some people.
Yeah, some doctors are good doctors, but with terrible bedside manner, and these people sound like that. No time to think, no time to prepare, just time to give a natural birth at 3:16 p.m. because Lord knows it's too late for an epidural to my now 15-year-old daughter.
Wait, she had to give a natural birth?
Yeah, because she was too late. Like, if you're too late, they won't let you do it.
Oh my God, okay, wow.
Yeah, so to walk in and be like, didn't know I was pregnant, and now I'm giving a natural birth at 16.
Oh my God.
For something I thought was a mistake has now turned into my best friend. My Instagram is blank, so you can peep how gorgina she is.
Oh.
Love you guys, and I hope your turd from Cheesecake Factory doesn't turn into a baby without you knowing.
That's crazy.
So campers, I did plug in her Instagram, and she's beautiful. Her daughter's gorgeous. They also have another child, like a little brother, and everyone seems really well adjusted. She's like a nurse. She still goes to the gym all the time. Everyone just seems like they got through this crazy time.
That is so nuts though. Literally, like, you think you just have to shit and you're feeling like your appendix is bursting, and then you go home, you don't have a nursery. Like, there's a lot of missing pieces. I'm sure that was really fucked up when she got home. It was like, what do you do then?
I know. And she was 17, so her daughter's 30. Her daughter's 15 now.
Her daughter's in her 30s.
So she's 32. But it's funny because like her daughter looks like a mini me. They look like twins. They're so cute.
That's cute.
I know. So I'm sure it was a crazy journey the next couple of years, obviously being that young and having zero preparation.
Yeah.
Like stuff. But like, what do? You just, life hands you crazy things and you just have to take it and figure it out. And she did. And look at her now.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
If you guys have any stories that are like this, I don't know, and you feel like sharing, maybe just share it.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Welcome back to Scary Stories.
I like that Ichabod Crane. Give it to me. Do you remember Ichabod Crane?
Isn't that from Sleeping Hollow?
Yeah. Oh my God. See, there is the legends of Sleepy Hollow.
We didn't talk about that in this episode. They probably don't know what we're talking about.
Well, that was back. I know, but they'll remember.
Okay.
The campers are they pick up on everything.
You're
Give
right.
them some credit.
So right.
It's also October, remember?
Ooh.
Ichabod Crane.
I wonder if by the time this episode comes out, we went to Sleepy Hollow.
No, schedules are not going to allow for that.
You're so right. Okay. So this is Scary Stories, where we're going to read you the scary stories that you wrote in or embarrassing stories. This one's a little scary.
Oh, yours actually is really scary. Like, own it. Like,
Yeah,
it's scary.
It's terrifying. My knees are shaking and it's embarrassing. Okay. Hello, counselors. I used to work for a certain mouse mascot company in their costume department.
Never mind. I thought you were reading a different story
No.
about that other one. And you
No.
were like, maybe you took it out because it was too scary.
I took it out because I didn't want our dear counselors and the scary story to be like a little too
Heavy.
intense. Yeah, so I put this one in there. It's a little sillier. It's not super scary, but it is kind of scary.
You're right. It's actually more silly than scary. I was confused. I was like, wait, that's not how that one started. Never mind, guys. We'll read that one in another episode. But
Okay, so I'll start that over. Hello, counselors. I used to work for a certain mouse mascot company in their costume department. Not a euphemism. I literally was an assistant to the costume designers and would help them make costumes for the performers and characters.
so Disney World, how fucking cool.
Yeah, so we're talking or Disneyland or Disney Pelly. Who knows?
Yeah, well, the Disney franchise.
Yeah, for sure. During my 10 years working there, I also worked on their cruise line.
What a dedicated career for the mouse.
I know.
Obsessed.
It was so much fun to work on. And if you think it's crazy being a passenger on the cruise, let me tell you, Below Decks is pretty accurate. Oh, Below Decks. I think she's talking about the Bravo show. Below Decks is pretty accurate, though less drinking, only a smidge. Okay, yeah. So she's just like, everyone who's working there, we're partying below deck. My very first work trip on one of the ships was one of the most embarrassing things that has happened. I started out my trip so excited. It had been a goal of mine for years to get to work on the cruise line, and I had never actually been on a cruise in my life. I love that, but I don't know if like I would want to work on a cruise my first time because I feel like it's so deaf.
I don't think it would ever be like a thing I would ever want to do in general, but but people do it. So.
Yeah. Then she goes on to say that her coworkers that were on this trip, everybody was so great and they all had their own guest cabins and they pretty much did this very similar things like what the guests are doing, like meal wise and, you know, things like that. It also happened that my birthday fell on the last night of our trip.
Ooh.
Wow. The trip flew by and I loved the work I was doing. To celebrate the end and my birthday as a whole, my entire team dressed up for formal night and we went to take pictures before dinner. You and I did not dress up for formal night and we felt like fools.
No, I didn't because I'm not going on a cruise and dressing up.
I know, but did we not feel like fools?
I wish I had one nicer top, but people dress up in full suits and bridal couture.
I know.
On a cruise, baby, I just watched you eat 7 pieces of free pizza.
We just fought at the buffet.
Yeah, like now we're throwing hands at the photo studio. Get over yourself. But people love it. They use it for their Christmas cards.
That's true. But you know what? The whole family's together. We got everyone together on this cruise. Let's all dress up. God damn it. If it'll be the death of me, we're taking a freaking picture.
I would just rather have a group photo like that's very candid, maybe on the selfie mode on the beach. Blow that up. That's more fun for me. I'm not into some like weird stage set, but that's my taste. So let these people have their taste.
Okay. Amen. All right. So where were we with this? Okay. Now, this whole trip had been literal smooth sailing, not an ounce of seasick. The last night, however, the seas were rough and you could feel it. You guys, listeners, if you've ever been on a cruise, you know those nights.
Yeah, those are tough.
We were outpacing a tropical storm, apparently, but it felt like we were not winning that race. I put my C-bands on and weathered the storm. What's a C-band?
They're like those they're in your ear bands that you put on your wrist that kind of help you with like.
Oh, equilibrium.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
exactly.
Anytime I think witchcraft might not be real, I think back to those because how do they work?
Yeah, that is given Wiccan behavior.
Yeah. I don't want to hear that it enters the bloodstream through your veins. It's witchcraft and I support it.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the story. At dinner, my coworkers had decorated the table and our waiter gave me a birthday sash. But everyone was feeling the waves, so we were eating dinner as quick as we could. We were at the dessert portion of dinner, and I see waitstaff lining up to bring over the cake. My coworkers brought out their cameras and handed over a big pink bag with a present. As I'm opening the present, I peek inside. I hear one of my coworkers go, "Oh God, get her to the ice bucket or something." Puzzled, I look up to see my other coworker hurling all over the table.
Those boats can get really rocky.
They can. And then here's the thing. I'm okay if I see puke or something in movies. I know some people really hate it, talking about it, thinking about it. So I'm sorry, you guys. But if it's happening right in front of my face and I get a little waft of it, it's coming up for me. It's like I can't help myself.
Really?
Domino effect. Yeah. If I'm getting a whiffy waft.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
If I smell hot piss in New York on the streets, it makes me gag.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you really just can't help it. And then it's a domino effect.
You're right. You really can't, honestly.
It can go really crazy really quick. So this just happened all over the table. on a Disney cruise.
No, not on the linen.
Yeah. Soon others noticed the smell and the sound and the sound, and a chain reaction, gagging ensued. This is what I'm talking about. All of this is happening while the waitstaff is clapping and singing their way to our table with a cake and full disco lit cocktail for me. Unbeknownst to me, my coworkers had also arranged to have Boss Mouse come out for a picture as well. So Mickey's coming out. Everybody's like, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday." And he just, Disney. If a head falls off a mascot, you gotta just keep pushing. So everybody's just like, la, la, la. It's just sick. And they're technically coworkers, like who the wait staff even. The wait staff and Mouse circle around the table, ignorantly singing as we're all actively gagging and vomiting. I try to smile and lead them away, but one swell and I can't take it anymore. So she's like holding it down, and then we get one more rogue wave and it's downhill. I lose it right into the gift bag.
What was in the gift bag?
Well, I don't think she said. No, she didn't. But luckily, there was a gift bag there, so at least it wasn't on the table. The poor wait staff looked at horror at our table and scattered things up to clean them. It probably looked like a massacre. The Boss Mouse kept posing all cute because obviously the room is watching him. And I stashed the gift bag away, snapped the worst picture of us, and I shoo him off to his adoring public. I wish she would have sent the picture over too.
I know, I want to see it.
We all basically ran off straight to our cabins and didn't talk about it for weeks. But once we got back on dry land, we laughed so hard when we talked about what had happened. Signed, the Rough Sea in Cabin 43.
Oh no.
That is rough. That reminds
the show must go on.
I know. It reminds me of the time when we were it was one of our earlier episodes. I think we talked about it, but it's definitely in a vlog on Patreon where we were in Disney with Erica, Priscilla, and Scotty, and you and Scott went to the bathroom and we had like the roughest day. It was so hot. We're sweating, and Goofy comes over to take a picture, and I'm like hungover, and I'm like, I'm all good. And Erica's like, we're good. Thanks, Goofy. And he forced us to take a picture. And that's where you have the Donald Duck picture. The classic one. The show must go on. It's awful.
And that picture is hysterical, so I'm glad we took them.
Yeah, amen. But I want to see this picture that this camper took. Can you please email it to us? Thank you.
Please.
So that's my scary story.
Well, mine's a little different, but equally as embarrassing. So this story starts out, no, I have to read it differently. I'm sorry, guys. This story starts, and it was hot and it was summer, and because she asked me to read that, please sing it in the tune of Better Than Revenge by Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Yeah. The story starts, and it was hot and it was summer, and am I doing that justice?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Camper, if I didn't.
No, you're doing it Victoria justice for sure.
Thank you. My sister and I were new to the neighborhood and invited over to swim at our very prissy new neighbor's pool. We were living our best lives until all of a sudden, the neighbor lady yells, "Everybody get out of the pool immediately. Someone let a log out." I love when people say poop is a log, because it really is a log, and it's kind of a more creative way to say it.
Yeah. No one ever calls it wood chips.
Well, if you're pooping wood chips, you need some more fiber for sure.
Or maybe less fiber.
As we all got out of the pool, I realized that perhaps the fart I let out a few minutes prior was something a smidge bigger. My mother rushed us back home to dry off, i.e., we needed to wallow in our shame, and the guilt was just eating me away. No one else was owning up to it, so it had to have been me. I confessed. We went back to the neighbor lady's house, and my mom explained that it was me who pooped in the pool. The embarrassment. For 15 years, I carried the shame around, shuddering every time I saw my neighbor, because they're neighbors.
Yeah.
So, she has to, live her life in complete shame and regret that she shit in this woman's pool.
Pool shit Shannon is what I would call her.
That was her name in high school. That's what they wrote in her yearbook, I'm pretty sure. I wasn't the only one carrying around shame, though. Because one Thanksgiving night, in an act of radical honesty, my big sister finally confessed that it was her poop, not mine. While she remained silent all those years, I gave a false confession.
Oh my God.
She was so relieved that I had taken the fall for what she had done, but this whole time, I was innocent. When I asked, "Why did you, at 12 years old, poop in the pool?" she simply responded, "I was just too lazy to get out."
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Camp Shady Birch needs a "This is an ool" sign by the pool, specifically for my sister, so she doesn't repeat her mistake. Sincerely, Crappy Camper in Cabin 13.
So what does that mean?
I looked it up because I was like, what is that? What does that, like, this is an ool mean? So there's signs on the internet that says like, welcome to our ool. Notice there's no P in it.
Oh.
Let's keep it that way.
I got it.
It's like a clever sign. Because like, as you guys know, I've peed in every pool I've ever been in. If you've ever invited me to your pool, I've pissed in it. I'm just like a serial pool pisser. Not always, but 9 out of 10 chances.
Well, maybe the sign should say this is an L. Notice how there's no poo in it. Pool. Did you forget how to spell?
Oh, I see that. I get that. Yeah.
Let's keep the poo. But then I guess it's a lot of explaining.
Well, I think more people are more willing to pee in a pool than poop. Pooping in a pool is insane to me.
That is crazy.
I've never even pooped in the ocean because I'm always afraid how that's going to even go down.
I just can't believe she carried that burden for so many years, being like, was that me? That probably was me.
Exactly. But there's just 2 like lines that she wrote in this that I want to highlight because they're just like so funny to me. Number 1, in an act of radical honesty. For me, that is so cinematic. I'm obsessed with the way that you wrote that. In an act of radical honesty, like I'm adding that phrase to my repertoire of words.
And you know that it's fueled by Pinot Noir.
I also love I gave a false confession because that also is giving like crime show. It's giving doubt with Meryl Streep and Amy Adams. Like I have doubt. I give a false confession. Like, it's so crazy. The way you wrote this was just so funny. I'm obsessed with this story, but I think you made it funnier by the way that you wrote that. And that is a true writer.
Great job.
So I want you to, we're going to hire you for the Camp Shady Birch Tribune, and you're going to run the Saturday portion of the paper.
Or the zine. Wouldn't that be cool if we had a Camp Shady Birch zine?
I know. I used to love the term zine, but I feel like now it's even cooler to call things magazines because everyone just calls them zines. It's like, whatever happened to magazines?
Well, I think to me, a zine is like something usually on computer paper and it's like a lot smaller.
You're right, like more personal projects?
Yeah, and the pages aren't glossy. We can't afford that here. They're usually black and white.
Okay, well, we're going to work on the budget there for sure. But I think we have some writers that would be great for that.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for writing in. If you have a story that you want us to read, send it on over. Go to campcounselorspodcast.com. There's a write-in tab, and you can send it over there.
Can't wait to read more. And with that being said,
Lights out, campers.